tendonitis or tennis elbow or fisherman's elbow, whatever you want to call it, there are definitely some things you can do to prevent that from happening. It can hurt like a mother. And basically all of that is that when you get tendonitis in your forearm, either one, depending on if you're right-handed or left-handed, or whichever one that you're overusing, because overusing certain ligaments, so like if you don't do something for a year, and then all of a sudden you go back to playing tennis every day, or you go back to fishing every day, long periods of time, you can definitely develop tendonitis because it's your body and your forearms are not used to that type of motion in a repeated fashion. They're not conditioned to it, so they're going to get very inflamed. It's going to be a painful situation, so let's prevent that. I have been fishing professionally for over 20 years, and I have never had a single minute problem with tendonitis. Yes, I'm 43 years old currently, but I planned on not having any of those issues because I do a couple preventative measures. One thing that I do is that I cast with both hands. If you play tennis, you may want to try to, alternate a little bit more, make it part of your game. Sometimes that's just not possible. Sometimes it's just not feasible. But that's one thing that I have done over the years. But you want a little exercise routine that you can do. I have a little exercise routine. A friend of mine, Ken Hoover, he is a nutritional coach, and he's been a trainer for many years. He turned me onto this TheraBand, and they make different colors, which are different resistances, to be able to strengthen your forearms. That's exactly what this little thing is made for. It looks like a roller, but it's not. It's actually made for doing forearm type exercises. Now the yellow one is one of the lighter ones. It's less resistance, but to prevent tendonitis, we're not trying to build strength. We're trying to build endurance in your forearm. So we're not looking to see how big and heavy of a TheraBand that we can have so we can only do like 4 reps. We're not trying to make our forearms bigger and just 1 rep strength more. We want to train this to run marathons. We want to train these forearms to run marathons, not to lift a bale of hay or whatever heavy thing that you're going to lift is. But so I'm going to just give you through my whole routine. As you work up through this, you start doing this, you're going to probably start with like once a week. And then, a few weeks into it, maybe you'll work up to twice a week. But I'll kind of give you that in a little bit. But I'm just going to go through my routine, and I'll give you the one rep go around. So the first thing I like to do is to start out is I call it the twist. You're gonna do one where you're gonna be pulling up like you're riding a motorcycle, and the other one's gonna be going down. So you're just gonna twist, and you're gonna probably 10 or 15 reps, somewhere in that range. Then I let that go, and I do it the opposite direction. So then I'm going to be doing the motorcycle on the left side and regular on the right side. I'm going to do that for about 10 or 15 reps. Then I'm going to do the fold over like that. Do that for about 10 or 15 reps. And then I'll turn my hands over and do it the opposite direction. So the gist of this is that I'm going to continue to do exercises and resistance in about every possible direction that I can think of. So that's the second one. The next one is upwards. This is like a hook set motion. So I'm going to go upwards 10 or 15. I'm going to try to just keep this part stable so that I can flex and bend and put a little resistance on my forearms here. So I'm going to do that for 10 or 15 reps. Then I'm going to go the other direction as well. I call this the jerkbait motion because that's what you do when you're throwing a jerkbait or topwater or something. That's kind of simulating that motion. And then I'm going to do that on both sides. Do that on both sides all the way through. And then once after you do that whole set, your forearms you'll notice a little pump in your forearms. Now comes the tricky part. This takes a little bit of coordination. It takes time to actually get there, but this is kind of simulating a casting motion. So I'm gonna hold it at the bottom, and I'm gonna go counterclockwise for about 20 or 30 repetitions. 20 or 30. I'm gonna just keep going. Then I'm gonna stop, go the other direction, 20 or 30, And you'll feel this in your top of your forearm. And this is creating muscle memory as well, to be able to do all these different types of motions. What it gets tricky is when you go to your opposite side and you're doing, counterclockwise, and you're going to stop, do the other direction, do both directions. Then I'm going to go back and hold it at the top. So this is a totally different motion. This is working more down here, not as much up here. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Do 20 or 30 revolutions, then stop, go the other direction, 20 or 30 revolutions. And this is where it gets really tricky, is my opposite side is doing the counterclockwise and then going back and doing the clockwise. That is a little tougher than it looks. Muscle memory, you can do it, just keep at it, but I'm gonna hit it from every angle that way. And then at that point, then I'm kind of definitely getting a little pumped. So I like to just twist it for about 30 reps on each side, and you're just gonna it's really kind of loosening everything up. You're gonna loosen everything up, and then I'm gonna twist about 30, 40 of these, because they're not, a lot of resistance, but you're just twisting and loosening everything up. Not a violent motion, just going back and forth, kind of just loosening everything up there. And then I'm gonna go for what I call the casting motion. I'm gonna cast and hold it, cast, hold, cast, hold, cast, hold, cast, hold, cast, hold. Then I'm gonna do the opposite, do the hook set. Hook set, stop, hook set, stop, hook set, stop. You're simulating those motions that you're gonna be doing out there on the water if you're a fisherman. You're gonna, anybody with tendonitis, this will continue to work. And then I'm gonna just go on the bottom side. It's kind of hard you're not really simulating that action as well. But on the bottom side, I just like to go that way. And I'll do it on both sides. No matter if I only cast right-handed or only cast left-handed, I'm doing both sides to make sure everything is even. Do those all the way through. And that's kind of my lap. And what I'll do is usually before tournaments, I'll work this routine, work up to doing 1 round, then I'll do 2 rounds, and then I'll work up to doing 3 rounds in a row. I mean, it'll take me at least 10 minutes to do a continuous 3 rounds of what I just showed you right there. That is quite the forearm workout. And like I was mentioning before, you want to start out with doing just 1 a week. If you've not been fishing or not been doing anything, really strenuous with your forearms, you want to do that maybe once a week. Then about a month or so into it, a couple weeks into it, you want to go to twice a week. Twice a week will probably give you all of the prep that you'll need to prevent most tendonitis. But if you're, like for me, professional bass angler, when I start fishing the season, I mean, it's full go. It is full 100% go. And before that, I'm going to be working up to doing that 3 times a week. I'm going to be doing that whole routine right there. I'll probably be doing at least 2 or 3 rounds of that. I'll be doing that 3 times a week, about the entire month to 2 months leading up to my first tournaments. So by the time I get to the first tournaments, my forearms, they're so tight, they're so ready to rock. You can't simulate this type of work in a gym very easily or efficiently. It's not, you can run on a treadmill, you can bench press a Buick, or you can, squat a mule, whatever you want to do. That's not going to simulate all your fishing motions, which are going to give you the issues to where then you're going to have to figure out how you're going to get it fixed, whether it's a cortisone shot or a plasma treatment or surgery, or whatever the options are. Most all the guys on tour that have had any issues with tendonitis, especially bad issues, have gone to the plasma treatment, the PRP, plasma replacement therapy. That is really cool stuff, in my opinion. My wife had that done. It's extremely painful. I'll just give you a heads up on that. So if you can just do a little work with a TheraBand, there's probably some other products out there similar, but this is the one I use. It's a very reputable brand, that TheraBand. I'll put a link down in the bio, or link down in the description, I should say. But that thing is handy, and I have used this thing a ton, and it still looks brand new. Still looks like I just took it out of the package. So that's what I would do. If you have any issues or you have any questions or concerns, tap that down there in the comments, and I'll be sure to try to answer them. Thanks for watching.